Welcome to Breakdown, Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. JJ, we talking football. It's almost here. You ready?
Football, yeah. We've had already had a top 25 matchup.
We have.
Yep.
We're talking college football. We're going to focus primarily on Big Ten, SEC.
Yeah.
But should we say the best for last, or should we go dive right on in?
Hey, I'm following your lead, whichever way you want to go.
We're going to say the best for last.
Okay.
We're going to talk about some games coming up this week. And first game we're going to talk about Friday. Michigan State against Western Michigan.
Michigan State, Western Michigan.
Yeah, what you think about that?
I mean, it's a matchup of two teams that didn't quite make it to bowl eligibility last year.
True.
Western Michigan hasn't been prolific ever since the row the boat days of PJ Fleck has been in the rear view mirror. Michigan State entering year 2 with Jonathan Smith and Aiden Chiles as the QB.
One before we go further, one thing I think Western did make a bowl last year.
Oh,
they were 6-7 last year.
They lost in the bowl. Okay.
Yeah, but my question, Aiden Child, what kind of improvements do you expect to see from him this year?
See, I have to stop turning the ball over. I mean, he gave the ball away way too many times, I thought,
Okay.
last year. I thought he could afford to be a little bit more, not just careful with the ball, but more on time with it. Like I think some of his problems were he would recognize an opening late, and then because of his arm talent, he get into the same trouble that a guy like Brett Favre got in trouble for a lot when he was a rookie in Atlanta, and even early in his days as Green Bay. Like he tried to make up for a late read with a very strong throw, and it doesn't always work out that well.
Do you expect to see a lot of growth from Aiden Child? He was thrown into the fire last year. Redshirt freshman. This year he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, he's 19. He's about to turn 20 pretty soon. I would imagine there would be some maturity and development, as you turn from, a teenager to,
Michigan State is a 20 and a half point favorite in that game. You buying, you selling?
I don't know. It's early in the season. Last year Notre Dame lost to a MAC school and still made it to the championship game.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's why they play them. It's a very important game for Michigan State though, because they cannot afford to lose. And I think their energy level is going to be super high. It's on a Friday. It's not a Saturday. So go green. Let's talk about the other school in Michigan. They're playing Saturday.
Yeah, Michigan.
The Wolverines.
They are debuting a new offense.
And a new quarterback.
Well, yeah, the new head of the offense as well. Triggerman, the true freshman, Bryce Underwood from 20 miles away, $10 million man. He will be throwing the passes. That was pretty much a foregone conclusion once Mikey King got hurt early in spring. He never was able to really catch up. Never really get the first team reps that he would have needed. So that's not the biggest surprise. The only question now is who will Bryce Underwood be throwing to?
Okay, I got a whole lot of questions. Starting a freshman, what do you expect from a freshman?
From a freshman,
and a true freshman, not a redshirt freshman, a true freshman.
I would expect a similar production, or at least something similar. I would expect a similar poise and production that you get from another similarly high rated freshman. I think the last freshman that was as highly rated as him at the quarterback position was Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
And
from Clemson
from Clemson, and he came in as a true freshman, 18 years old from Georgia, and played lights out.
The one thing I will say, he get in my mind, an easy start this season. New Mexico State. I mean, not New Mexico coming into Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
should be a win. But this is my take. Michigan is preseason number 14. Do they end up preseason 14 better or worse?
That's a good question. I think that's a great preseason rank for them because I could definitely see them ending the season with 9, 10 wins, which would put them right in the 14
Wow.
range.
Your prediction is way better than mine.
So I'm going to say a little bit higher. I saw they finished 13th.
Okay. I think the freshman is going to have some growing pains that most freshmen have. Uh, although I will say I don't think Michigan has a tough schedule this year. I
Mm.
think their schedule is kind of soft, not as tough as Michigan State, but I still see a lot of growing pain for Bryce Underwood, and I see them. I don't know. I definitely see it be lower. It should be lower. But let's go south.
Well, South we go.
Okay, because we've talked about two Big Ten teams. The Big Ten, JJ, their schedule week one, in my mind, is really, really soft, except for one game, and we're going to say that game for last. We're going to talk about some teams in the SEC. Let's start off with Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama they're also debuting a new quarterback. He's a little bit more seasoned though. Ty
Yeah.
Simpson has been in the program for.
This is his fifth year.
Oh, I thought it was his fourth year. I didn't realize it was his fifth.
No, is it his fourth? It's either his fifth or his fourth. He's been around.
He has been around.
But
He's not a rookie. He's not a freshman.
yeah. Uh,
But it was a battle. I mean, he was just recently named the starter. I'm not sure how many first team reps they had to distribute between him and who was the challenger? They had a transfer, and then they had I can't remember who.
I don't remember either.
I can't remember the name, but I know it was a true battle because it went until last week before they named him the starter. So
Alabama first game, they are at Florida State.
yeah, that's a premier matchup. Two powerhouse programs.
Alabama is preseason number 8. Debuting a new quarterback, as you said.
But they get to keep their number one receiver. Last year's 17-year-old phenom Ryan Williams. He's now 18.
Okay.
He's a pretty good
But
number one
JJ,
receiver to throw to.
the spread at 13 and a half point.
Mm.
Alabama, a favorite.
Yeah.
Buying or selling. Alabama, they're I think their leading running backs have missed this game, and they got a couple of other injuries. I can't remember exactly who they are.
Their star defensive tackle
Yeah.
is getting surgeries and going to miss this game and likely 4 more.
And so to me, 13 and a half points is a lot of points against playing Florida State.
It's a lot.
At Florida State.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it went down a little bit to maybe 10. But I actually wouldn't be surprised if Alabama covered that. Florida State won, 2 games last year? They were terrible. And instead of firing their coach who was on the hot seat, they decided to, put the money that it would have taken to pay his buyout and hire a new coach. They put that into better uses and put it directly into the roster. And I know that they were able to bring in a lot of guys in, but the trigger man, the number one guy is Thomas Castellanos,
Yeah.
the transfer from Boston College. Even Boston College had some interesting parting words for him. I don't believe in him as on the college level.
So you are buying at 13 and a half points.
Yeah, I am buying
Okay.
13.5 points.
Really quickly, I want to talk about another team in the SEC. We want to talk about a few teams really quickly, but I want to talk about the Arkansas-Alabama State. Not because that's a premier matchup, but because it's Arkansas. I can't sit here and do something and ignore Arkansas. So I have not seen a point spread on that Arkansas-Alabama State game.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, what kind of team will Arkansas have this year? And how many points would you be willing to give against Alabama State?
I wouldn't put a spread on it either. That'd be a stay away. I don't.
Well, how good are they going to be, Arkansas?
Arkansas, they should be decently talented, but the problem is their conference at their end. I mean, they have the second hardest schedule in the country again this year. So, last year they won 6 in the regular season in a bowl game. They're gonna need to do at least that, but I don't think that alone would save Sam Pittman's job. But I don't know. They're gonna have to
Okay.
win this one for sure.
I'm giving 30 points in that game. If I see a line anywhere where it's less than 30 points, I'm gonna sell my house and make it. Okay, JJ, let's talk about Baylor coming to Auburn.
Auburn going to Baylor.
Oh, is that what it is? Yep, they're at Baylor.
Yeah,
Baylor is a 2.5 point underdog at home against Auburn.
yeah. I mean,
Auburn stunk it up last year.
they did stink it up. They also had the number 6 rated recruiting class in the country this year. That was the highest rated recruiting class since I think 2014. Now with the transfer portal being what it is, I'm not sure what high school recruiting rankings mean. I'm not sure if they have the same
Right.
value that they did, but I also know that Auburn was very aggressive in the transfer portal. So, Hugh Freeze, he's golfed his way into the hot seat. But I don't know. I'm not surprised that Auburn is a favorite.
Okay.
Baylor, stumbled off the starting block last year, but finished with 9 wins and,
Yeah.
and in contention for the Big 12. So Dave Aranda, I think is a good coach, but I do think Auburn has more talent, and I'm not surprised to see them as a favorite. What say you?
Auburn did finish strong last year. I mean, Baylor finished strong last year. I'm surprised that they're the underdog at home. Uh, we'll see. If 2.5 points, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just surprised. I don't think I would have come out and said Auburn is 2.5 points better than Baylor at Baylor. But JJ, another big game. The SEC is loaded with what I call Week One Power Four teams. We Alabama and Florida State, Auburn and Baylor. The next one, JJ, LSU and Clemson.
Yeah,
At Clemson. Wow.
that's a good matchup.
Clemson is a 3.5 point favorite. You buying or selling?
Well, LSU has lost their last 5
Season opener.
debuts to the season, 3 of which have been conducted by Brian Kelly. So I'm not surprised that LSU would enter this one as a underdog. Clemson has a great quarterback, a quarterback that might be better than LSU's. Both of these guys are in the Heisman Trophy discussion. Garrett Nussmeier for LSU
Okay.
and Cade Klubnik for Clemson. I think Klubnik threw over 30 touchdowns last year and threw 4 picks.
I think Nesmar was the only quarterback with over 4,000 yards from last year that's back this year.
So it's a couple of dynamic offenses. The difference is, I think, is the defense. I think Clemson, with their offensive line versus LSU's defensive front, Clemson could really have a field day. There's just too many ways you can target Harold Perkins,
The
the
linebacker.
linebacker for LSU, who is more effective as a pass rusher, but is very undersized as a pass rusher. So thinking about the next level is trying to play as a linebacker, but he's very exploitable in space, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on LSU's defensive scheme to cover for his where he lacks. I mean, that puts a lot of pressure for them to only rush 4 and not to bring extra men. And I don't really know if Clemson has the offensive line that LSU can exploit.
Okay.
Conversely, I think it might be a little tough. I think Clemson's defensive front might be a little bit tougher for LSU to have to deal with.
Well, Clemson is preseason number 4. LSU is preseason number 9. Clemson went 0-3 last year against the SEC.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly has gone 0-3 in openers. Who needs this game more, Clemson or LSU?
Ooh, the guy that's won 2 national championships and basically is the face of the entire program. I mean, Dabo doesn't need it. So, if you're talking about which school needs it more, I would say Clemson probably needs it more as a school, just because LSU will have opportunities. LSU will have opportunities to beat very highly ranked teams, on their schedule. But if we're talking about individuals who need it more, Brian Kelly needs it more than Dabo.
Can I tell you something about LSU fans? There are a lot. I haven't done a survey, but I'm pretty confident there are a lot of LSU fans who want Brian Kelly to lose this game.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot that want him out.
They are not big fans of Brian Kelly. If he goes 0-4 in season openers, his seat is going to get hot, and the pressure is going to mount on him like he's never had. Not at Notre Dame, not at Central Michigan, not at Grand Valley. He's going to have pressure if he loses this game. So tell me, JJ, will he win or will he lose?
That's a good question. I think the only reason Clemson is even ranked as high as they are now is because of, a flukish first half against SMU, which got them into the college football playoff. Otherwise, they would have not even been ranked in the top 15, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Well, they wouldn't have been to end the season last year, I don't think. And I don't think that they'd go into this year. They would just played in some random bowl game against Illinois. So, I don't really think that I think that a very strong first half. I mean, but you can't take away from what they did. They did beat SMU, and then they did make it to the college football playoff.
Played Texas. They lost to Texas. They lost to Georgia. They lost to South Carolina. 3 SEC teams last year.
But they look good against Texas doing so.
True.
Yeah.
If you can look good losing.
Yeah. And I think that's why they're ranked so highly now.
Okay. So just be clear. Who's winning this game? Forget the point spread. Who's winning it?
I'm taking Clemson.
Okay. Clemson to win at home. For Brian Kelly's sake, I'm taking the Tigers. JJ, I ain't gonna, you know what, there are a couple more games we can talk about, but we're going to get to the meat of week one season, the real nitty gritty. What game is the meat of the week one in the NCAA football world? All eyes are going to be where? At 12 noon.
Syracuse, Tennessee.
At 12 noon. It's interesting. The home team,
South Carolina, Virginia.
the home team tried to get the game changed, but the visiting team said, "No, we're going to stick with the 12 noon kickoff." So tell me, where are the eyes at, JJ?
Where are the eyes?
Now, let's get it down quick now.
I mean, you tell me. I mean, you had all of that build-up. Why don't you pay it off?
I want you to tell me. It's in Ohio. It's in Ohio. Tell me about this matchup game.
It's a team that lost to Michigan 4 straight times versus a team that actually beat Michigan last year.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. At Michigan.
At Michigan, yeah. That was pre-Bryce Underwood, though.
That's true. Okay, tell me about this matchup.
So
one against 3.
You're the one that's so brimming to get to it. Let me just.
How many times have you seen season week 1 opener where it's 1 against 3?
I think in some polls it might be 1 against 2.
That's true, but we're going to go with the AP poll. We're going to stick the UPI. Is it UPI? The coaches poll.
Yes.
I forgot what it. Anyway, may have a 1 against 2, but the AP has it 1 against 3. This is not a matchup. I mean, this is not something that's normal. This is how. Do you prefer, JJ, to start a season off with a game like this, or would you prefer a rental win against East Wachatucha's whomever? Some directional school.
I think it depends on the situation. If I just won the national championship, I'm perfectly fine with playing this type of game. I think either way, it's going to be a celebration. So I'm perfectly fine having won the national championship. If I just lost to the team, that won the national championship, in the Final Four, which is what Texas did, I mean, I would definitely be champion at the bit to get a little bit of revenge.
Well, set this game up for me, JJ. Let's talk about coaches. Let's talk about quarterbacks. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about receivers. Let's just talk about this game. Let's start with coaches.
Ryan Day versus Steve Sarkisian.
Ryan Day at Ohio State.
Ryan Day at Ohio State. Steve Sarkisian, the trigger man for Texas.
What do you think about the two coaches?
They're both they both make their hay on the offensive side of the ball. Ryan Day is a disciple of Chip Kelly at New Hampshire. Steve Sarkisian, he's coached all over. He was USC's head coach, Washington's head coach, Alabama's offensive coordinator.
Yeah, under Nick Saban.
Whose assistant coach, tried to recruit it dirty against him. Do you see that report again about what actually his best friend, Paul, whatever his name is, assistant coach at Alabama, tried. They were just talking about how Alabama was trying to get Arch Manning and Texas was trying to get him, and Alabama was talking about how, Sark's my best friend. I love him to death. Hopefully he can, stay off the bottle, stop drinking. Did you see that?
I did not.
Yeah, so that was in the news, but yeah. So anyway, Sarkisian is well traveled and he's an offensive coordinator, offensive guru, and a QB whisperer.
Okay, so both of them are offensive guys. Which one is better, offensively?
Oh, I would say Sarkisian is a better play caller.
Okay, interesting.
If I was a quarterback, I'd rather play for Sarkisian for sure.
Okay, let's talk about quarterbacks. Ohio State's going to be debuting a new quarterback.
Yeah, Julian saying he was in a battle with the redshirt sophomore from South Dakota or Idaho. I can't remember.
I think it was Dakota.
Yeah, Luke. I can't remember what his name was, but they just named him Julian Saying as the starter this past week, and he transferred from Alabama, so he's a redshirt freshman.
True. Yeah. He's thrown for 84 yards in his career.
Thrown for 84 yards,
and he's going to be going up against the number one team in the country Saturday.
Yeah. So the difference in quarterbacks, Arch Manning is not like either one of his uncles. He's more like his dad. His dad was a wide receiver in the SEC, and that means you have to be able to run a little bit, and that's what Arch Manning can do. Julian Saying, less so. I know the guy that he was in the battle with was a much more athletic quarterback, more dynamic running quarterback. Julian Saying can run a little bit, though, and if you neglect to... He's more of a CJ Stroud, where he can run. He doesn't run like as well as, like Lamar or Josh Allen, but he can run. And I think that's something that if Ohio State is smart, they will incorporate that into the game plan against Texas and make Texas have to account for Julian Saying's legs, especially if they believe in their backup as much as they let on to believe. Now Arch Manning is a true dual threat. He's a good runner. Decent. He had a couple of decent starts, but
against nobodies.
Against nobodies. Similar to the year before, Malik Murphy, like his production was similar, stepping into a relief role. But he's the preseason favorite for the Heisman Trophy. He's
so winning or losing this game. What does it do for either team? If Ohio State loses, say Ohio State loses badly,
that would probably be embarrassing. I mean, that'd be embarrassing because of it's on their home turf. They just won the national championship. That would be a cold dose of reality. But I don't think it does anything too bad for either one of these teams.
If Texas loses badly, what does that do for Arch Manning? In Texas,
it takes them
and the SEC.
It doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything?
No, I mean, it's a 12-team playoff. It's not a 2-team playoff. Okay. This isn't the BCS anymore. It doesn't do much of anything. Michigan beat Ohio State last year. Like Ohio State lost to their arch rival and then won the national championship. We are in a completely different reality.
Okay, so this game is highly anticipated, but it doesn't carry the weight of a 1-3 would have carried, say, 20 years ago.
I mean, that's what happens when you open up the playoff.
Okay,
I agree. Regular season.
I agree.
I mean, that's the way it works.
I agree. Is there anything that we should look forward to in this game?
Yeah, it should be two of the most talented teams in the country.
Okay.
Two Heisman Trophy candidates, two NFL prospects, two offensive geniuses. I'm interested to see how Ohio State replaces. They have to replace two
running backs,
two coordinators.
They did.
Matt Patricia comes in on defense, and then on offense, they have to replace Chip Kelly, who's now in Las Vegas, I think, in the NFL. So it's going to be a lot of new faces for both teams. when it comes to the player personnel. But I think Ohio State has a lot more psychological to deal with. They're the defending, whatever national champions, whatever that means. So I think the pressure's on them. It's at their home turf. You know.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
If Texas win, will we see a Longhorn flag planted at midfield?
No, I don't think you're gonna see any flags planted. I think
I agree. I'm just talking. JJ, I'm anxiously awaiting this game. There are so many good games in week one. Not your normal week one schedule. To me, there are a lot of good games, and I'm looking forward to it. Question about this Ohio State Texas game.
Yeah.
How did Fox put this game at noon? How can it be at noon, a noon game? And I think, is Columbus, Ohio, are they on Eastern or Central time? They're Eastern.
I believe Columbus is Central.
So that'd be 11 o'clock game if they're Central.
I do believe that's accurate.
How did Fox do something like that? Ain't this a prime time game?
Well, I mean, Michigan, Ohio State happens every year at noon. So if that can happen every year at noon, I guess, the Big Ten can play at noon.
Okay, so you're okay with this being a prime game? Being a noon kickoff. I'm not.
I'm perfectly fine with it.
Okay.
Well, some of us aren't going to be busy, so some of us are going to be able to watch it live. So that might be part of the reason why you're not. But it's Lee Corso's last game. College game day, putting on whichever mascot head that he puts on. There's a lot of pageantry and pomp and circumstance happening.
Before we get out of here, JJ, 1.5 point. It's gone down. It was 2.5 point. Ohio State was a favorite. Now it's down to 1.5. Who wins this game outright? Forget the point spread. Who wins?
Who wins outright? Well, Archman is what he says he is. Texas wins, but I don't think that he is. So I think Ohio State's going to pull out the victory.
Okay, I'm going to go with the most experienced quarterback and the better coach. I tend to go that route.
So who is the more experienced quarterback and the better coach to you?
Well, you already said Sarkisian was the better coach.
To me, yeah.
Okay, and Arch has more experience than.
Marginally, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going with those. I think marginally Alabama wins. Not Alabama. Gosh, what am I saying? I've been thinking about the quarterback transfer from Alabama. I think marginally Texas wins at Columbus.
Okay, well, I would be more than okay with that.
Oh, me too. Hey, before we get out of here, W-P-S Whoopig Suey. Bam. What you got, JJ?
Horns up. For this weekend only. For this
weekend
only.
I'm shocked to hear you say that.
For this weekend only.
All right. You heard it.